Hey, hello. Today I'm gonna cover the while loops. Here, just one concept: while loops. While loop here, and okay. Yeah, let's get started here. So let's create one variable I. If the I is when I is 0, and here's the while loop. While lowercase while a I is less than 11 column. So print I. Print I and put and add 1 by itself. Let's see. 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You create like this pattern, this sequence Y. So let me explain here. So in first I is 0. Because I is 0 while I is less than 11. Because 0 is less than 11. So if this condition comes true, so if this comes true, you print out, you execute this the following codes here. Print the I first. So print I is 0, 0. So here's the first is 0. After this statement, it goes to next statement. Here I here add 1 by itself. And if when it's finished, ends here, when it ends here, it will loop again here because here's the while loop. Here's the loop. So it will go back to the while statement here. Here we know that I is already is 1. So 1 is less than 11. So it's true. So it's true. Print the I. I is 1. So print 1. And the same pattern. Just it loops until this statement, this condition false. So when I adds 1 until the I is 11. 11 is less than 11. So it's false. It false. So it will end this loop. So here. End the loop. So in here is a loop, is the while loop. So it will execute the statement, this code here until the condition comes false. So it's a little concept about the loop. It's the while loop. Or you could use this else. It is same meaning. If it's false, if the while statement false, you print the else statement. So the else statement can follow by the while statement, while loop statement. It's not only for the if else statement, but in Python, the else statement can follow by the while loop statement. If the while loop statement, if the while loop is false, is end, is stop here, just stops here. So the Python will look at the else statement and you will print out the following statement. So end the loop here. So here is a little concept here. So and the next I will introduce two words. One is called the continue, and one is the and the break. Just these two words here. So what is the meaning of the continue and the break? Let's do one example here. The same thing when if the I is 0, while I is less than 20, let's say 20, print the I. If statement, let's introduce the if here. If the I is 11, great. If not, plus 1, okay. If we ignore this if statement, the I will normally print up to the 20. But here we put the if statement here. If I is 11, break here. So the break means end this loop, end the loops. So if here is 11, so after you print the I is 11. If the I is 11, break the loop. So here else. Okay. Print end the loop. Hold on. It should be end the loop. So here's one phenomenon you may just saw here. If you use the else, it won't print this call because the break. The break will affect all the loop, and just it will finish the whole thing. Just end the whole thing. So and the next here. Let's see continue. Okay. Let me see. It should be I plus 1. Okay, great here. So here's the continue statement here. If I is 11, continue. So there's nothing change here. Okay. I use the bad example here. Let me give one more example. If the I is when the I is less than 11, 5 plus 1 by itself. If I is 5, continue. B is not 5, so you could use the else means I means and you could use the else statement or not. It's up to you. It's up to you here. So let's see. If here's the while loop. If it's less than 11, you keep looping. It keeps looping here. So 1 to 11 here. But if you look at this result carefully, you will find that here's the 5 missing here. Because if here's the 5, if I is 5, continue. The continue means go back to the loop and ignore the rest of the rest of the coding. So it means it ignores the print function here. So if I is 5, continue goes to the while loop. If here is if so, just an example, if I is less than something 10. So just for example, here let's see. Okay, continue. We go back to the outer loops. I mean, go back to the outer loop, not the inner loop. So here's the continue that works. And here, the while loop, we also have the inner while loop and outer while loop, and you could use the if statement here, introduce the if statement. So you can, it's up to you here. And so let's see one interesting example. I is 0, j is 0. While I is less than 11, while j is less than 11, means I and j. And here, and this. Okay, let's see. Let's see the while loop combination. Yeah. Oh, I missed. Okay, wait here. So result. Yeah. If I use the double while loops here, if I is less than 11, if j is less than 11, print the I and j and add 1 by themselves. So 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So here's a little, just a little is interesting thing here. So you could introduce a lot of whiles loops here. But be careful. Here's something you might face, that here's the infinite loop. Just like I've just experienced that. So if I is less than 0, while I is greater than -1. So print the I and I plus 1. So if you start to execute it, so it will print the I infinitely, because I always satisfy this condition. So if you want to stop it, so you could use just close the console that program. So here's the infinite loop. Just be careful for that. So you might need to use the infinite loop, just depends on the situation. But most of the uses just most of the case, you won't need to use the infinite loop, and here's and it will damage the kernel. Yeah, if you use the infinite loop, it will damage your CPU. It might just be careful for the infinite loop. So yeah, is the end of this session. So thank you for listening.